Hello everyone. What is it? What is it? Oh. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Claire and this is Joli. She's made a few cameos in my videos before. Mind the Calathea, mind the Calathea. Oh, watch the cats. Okay. Oh my god, I don't know if we're going to be able to film at all. We're currently quarantining together, so I thought it would be a good time to make a video on some non-toxic, pet-friendly houseplants. I'm going to run through a list of some of my personal favourites, how easy they are to care for, and briefly kind of summarise their care needs, so you can see if you think they'd be right for you. I'm really lucky with this one because she's never really paid any attention to my plants. But that being said, it's so important to make sure, obviously, that you're keeping your fur babies safe. This video is all about plants that are safe for cats and dogs. So if you've got a gerbil or something like that, then I would recommend checking that out separately. Really important before I get into it, this is maybe quite obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. With any houseplant, even if it's not toxic, it's still not a good idea to let your pets get too involved because they can still get a nasty tummy upset if they eat anything unusual. For this video, I'm also going to include a plant parenting skill meter of, in my opinion, how difficult or hard each, I was going to say pet again, each plant is to care for. I'm going to budge up and then I can put pictures there. So, in no particular order. The first type, and definitely one of my favourites, are Calatheas, also known as prayer plants. There's so many types of Calathea and they're literally just such beautiful, versatile plants. Although they belong to the same family, each variety is so unique. You've got Ornata, or Ornata, I'm not sure how you say it, Triastar, Medallion, Orbifolia, White Star, Rattlesnake, and so many more. I have made a video specifically about Calathea care, which I will link above, but a basic breakdown of their care needs is that they enjoy medium lighting conditions, but they can survive in lower light conditions as well. They like their soil to be consistently moist, so guideline waterings around once a week, and they enjoy medium to high humidity levels. Another one I'd recommend is the Parlour palm, also known as the good luck palm. Most palms are actually non-toxic, but this is definitely one of my favourites. These plants are also really great at coping in lower light conditions with kind of medium humidity levels, and they like their soil to dry out slightly between waterings. So the watering guidelines every week to 2 weeks, depending on the environment of your home. One that's super popular at the moment and great if you've got pets is the String of Hearts. Their proper name is Ceropegia Woodii? Ceropegia Woodii. They're often actually sold in hanging baskets, which besides the fact they're not poisonous means that they're usually able to be out of the way of paws. These ones do best in bright indirect light with low to medium humidity levels. And again, they like their top layer of soil to completely dry out before you rewater. So the guideline watering for this is every week to couple of weeks. The next pet-friendly houseplant that's also super popular is the cast iron plant. I'll put its Latin name in the description below because I feel like I shouldn't even attempt to say it. They're fantastic low-maintenance plants that are also super drought tolerant, meaning that they only need to be watered when the soil's quite dry. I tend to water mine every 2 to 3 weeks or so. They enjoy medium to high humidity levels, but they're not the kind of plant that will complain too much if it is a bit lower. They're also really adaptable when it comes to lighting. Low to medium light seems to suit them best just because bright light can cause their leaves to burn. HOYA KERRII is another gorgeous plant that will not harm your pets. Again, there's loads of different types of HOYAs and I'm pretty sure they're actually all non-toxic, but I'm really loving this one right now. They're another one that's pretty low maintenance and adaptable to their surroundings. They do like humidity, but they can absolutely survive in lower humidity conditions as well. Again, they're very easy plants. They only need to be watered kind of a couple of times a month, and they cope fairly well in most light conditions. That being said, they are capable of producing beautiful kind of whitey pink flowers, and that will only happen if you've got them in a highlight area. The next one on the list is the Boston fern. Not all ferns are pet friendly, so just make sure you do your research before bringing home any old fern to live with your pets. These ones love humidity, so they make such good bathroom plants. Boston ferns don't like their soil to ever completely dry out, but they also don't like sitting in soggy soil. So it's important to make sure that the soil is evenly moist at all times. I tend to water mine about once a week. They thrive in bright, indirect light and usually need about 4 hours at least a day of this to keep them happy and healthy. Another absolutely gorgeous and pet-safe plant is the watermelon peperomia. Surprise, surprise, it gets its name from the lovely stripy watermelon markings on its leaves and is another really easygoing plant. It's fairly adaptable when it comes to light, but bright indirect light is recommended. This is another one that really likes the top layer of soil to completely dry out before you rewater. So the guideline watering for this one would be every week to week and a half, depending on the conditions of your home. Watermelon peperomia do really enjoy extra humidity, so I would recommend keeping them in conditions where it's kind of medium to high humidity. Up next is the spider plant. These plants are not only non-toxic, but they have amazing air purifying qualities, and they're also really easy to propagate to make new plants, spider plants. Spider plants, again, need the soil to dry out slightly between waterings, so the guideline watering for these ones would be every week to 2 weeks. They're super tolerant of low light conditions, however would always do best and grow faster and healthier if they're in medium indirect sunlight. Again, they're fairly adaptable plants and they don't need a huge amount of humidity, but they will always do best and look healthiest in medium to high humidity levels. A lot of succulents and cacti are actually non-toxic, but one that's really popular and I absolutely love is the zebra cactus. The zebra cactus does best in partial sun, which basically means it will do best if half the day it's kept in direct sunlight and then the rest of the day bright indirect light. In terms of humidity, this one actually does best in lower humidity levels. Oh, where are you off to? Oh, good girl. They're fairly easygoing water-wise. I tend to water mine every week or so during the summer and every couple of weeks during the winter months. The next pet-safe houseplant is the Chinese fan palm. These ones are so beautiful and can grow to be huge, so they're ideal if you're kind of looking to create that tropical jungle vibe in your home. The Chinese fan palm loves lots of bright indirect sunlight and kind of moderate humidity levels. Anything above about 40% would do. Again, this one really likes the top few inches of soil to completely dry out before you rewater, so guideline watering would be every week and a half to 2 weeks. The next one, ironically, is the Venus flytrap. So unless you've got a pet fly or free roaming insect, this one will not hurt your pets. Venus flytrap plants aren't only amazing to look at, but they're such a good way of getting rid of things like fungus gnats and flies in your home naturally. The guideline watering for this one is around once a week, but they are really sensitive to the chemicals and minerals found in tap water. So I would advise using either rainwater or filtered water if possible. Again, they like moderate humidity levels, so nothing super dry like radiators and fan heaters blasting, but also not super damp like a humidifier blasting on 70%. And they do best in bright sunlight or very bright indirect light. Next on the list of pet-friendly houseplants is the money tree, meant to bring prosperity and good luck to whoever owns it. The money tree enjoys bright indirect light and medium to high humidity levels. This one doesn't need to be watered very often and is fairly low maintenance. I tend to water mine every 2 to 3 weeks when the soil feels dry and just make sure it's never left sitting in water, as this can cause root rot. Another non-toxic houseplant meant to bring wealth and prosperity is the Chinese money plant, commonly known as the pancake plant. These ones don't cope well with direct sunlight as it can cause their leaves to burn, but do really well in bright indirect light. They really enjoy high humidity levels and can actually suffer with brown patches on the leaves if the humidity isn't high enough. They're another one that enjoys the top few inches of soil to dry out before you rewater them again. I water mine every week and a half or so, and I found that works best for me. But again, it comes down to how light, warm, humid your house is, so monitor the soil. The MUSA dwarf Cavendish is definitely one of my favourite pet-friendly houseplants. It's also known as the banana plant and is just so gorgeous. Although it's not poisonous, it does have very thin, delicate leaves that can rip quite easily, so I would just make sure it's up out of the way of any pets that might like to play with it. Banana plants grow best in bright indirect light, but they can cope with areas of partial shade, but just make sure you're turning them regularly if that's the case. They love humidity, so I would say the higher the better for this one. Water-wise, they also really like the top few inches of their soil to dry out, so the guideline watering for these ones is every week to 2 weeks. Next up is the fishbone cactus. Although this one isn't toxic, it does have quite sharp spikes. Some people pluck these out, but if you don't do that, make sure it's in a place where it won't be able to prickle your pets. The fishbone cactus thrives in bright indirect light, however can cope with some direct sun. It's really easygoing and drought tolerant, so it means you only actually need to water it every kind of 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes even longer. And it does best with medium to high humidity levels. Another pet-friendly plant that I absolutely love is the Kentia palm. This one's perfect if you're looking for a large floor plant, as they can grow up to 12 feet tall. Their leaves burn really easily in direct sunlight, so if you place it in a highlight spot, just make sure it's got some sort of filter. Ideal growing conditions are bright indirect sunlight, however it can cope really well in lower light areas as well. Water them once the top layer of soil's dry, so every week to 2 weeks, and just make sure it's in a really well draining pot. They're humidity lovers, so when it comes to Kentia palms, the higher the humidity, the better. The next really popular houseplant is Echeverias. These ones are succulents and absolutely thrive in bright light, so they're usually able to grow in direct sun most of the time. Some people even grow them outdoors. They really enjoy their soil to dry out between waterings, and again are another one that are super drought tolerant. So I tend to water mine every few weeks and keep them in conditions with fairly low humidity. African violets are another really great shout for a pet-friendly, low-maintenance houseplant. They've got really soft, furry leaves, and when kept in the right conditions can produce beautiful flowers. To maximise the bloom of the flowers and make sure that the plant stays healthy, they should be kept in bright, indirect lighting conditions. As soon as the top layer of soil dries out, they're ready for water, so the guideline watering for these ones is every week or so. They're really adaptable when it comes to humidity, but an ideal environment would provide medium to high levels. Another beautiful non-toxic houseplant is the polka dot plant. Again, I'll put all of the scientific names in the description below. They come in a gorgeous variety of colours, and in some areas can be grown outdoors as well as indoors. They can tolerate morning and evening sunlight as it's not quite as harsh, but for the rest of the day they should be kept in bright indirect lighting conditions if possible. Polka dot plants like their soil to be kept consistently moist but never saturated and soggy. I water mine every week, sometimes a little bit more during the summer months. They do like humidity but can cope in most homes that have at least 50% humidity, so kind of moderate. Finally, one of the most popular houseplants that also happens to be pet-friendly is the orchid. Orchids are known for being energetically balancing because their flowers are completely symmetrical, hence why you often see them in spas and beauty parlours. They love bright, indirect light and actually really need this in order to be able to produce their flowers. However, too much direct sun can actually cause them to burn. They like to be watered once or twice every couple of weeks, however can survive without water for much longer. You risk losing the flowers if you leave it much longer though. Orchids thrive in an environment with high humidity, however can absolutely cope with moderate humidity levels as well. And there you have it, 20 non-toxic, pet-friendly houseplants. It was actually really hard to just choose 20 for this video because there are loads of them and there's loads of really gorgeous ones. I'll probably make another one of these videos at some point, but feel free to let me know your favourites or any that I missed in the comments below. If this video was useful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so that you will know when I post new videos. I'll be sharing lots more soon, from plant care to plant styling to plant DIY, so stay tuned.